Thank you, listeners, to have me on board for discussion on urban horticulture. As you all know, this urban horticulture is a new concept emerging out of horticulture, which is highly commercial. As you know, the population of the world is changing to the demography that we will not have an arable land in the future to go for our growing demand for food. And maybe by 2050, we will grow approximately 10 billion people on this earth. And out of this, 70% of the population would be living in the cities and urban areas. If we see India also, like as of now, more than 30% population is urban, and by this time, 2030, over 600 million population will be urbanized. And as you see, we already have surpassed China in the growing population. So our demand for food will also increase. If you see the major regions of the world and the urbanization, how by 2050 that population will grow, like the stability of growing food will be lesser than the population. So our requirement would be to utilize the land and the area which is in urban cities and nearby urban cities, be it a climate constraint, soil constraint, and water constraints. But we have to grow the food because we cannot feed this population. And of course, this horticulture is a highly commercial activity. So at the same time, we will be able to not only grow the food, but also we will generate the employment and also income to those who are at the verge of low income. So sustaining the lifestyle of urban cities will become a major task in the future times to come. So if we see the worldwide, uh, the need for urban horticulture is because the buildings and the infrastructure is growing on an alarming scale. But the food production areas will always be far away from the urban cities, but the localized demand would be an urgency of the food production. In this case, we will see in the times to come that these buildings where we are not able to see even the understory plants, we will see a green buildings in the future times to come to meet our demand for the food. And uh, if not the traditional crops, but the high-tech crops will come into their place, where they would be grown with the less of light, without soil, and also the different growing mediums as an amendments, and also with a sense of aesthetic and architectural horticulture uh, designs. So in urbanized world, you will see that the infrastructure and the design of the cities would also change, and we will see the more of habitation with the growing areas and residential areas. If you find some of the places like New York, Shanghai in China, the demography is changing both ways to grow the crops or horticulture crops, food crops in in uh, in a place where the buildings have occupied the areas and breathing areas would be occupied. If it's a Europe, with water, the water floating, greens would be grown, and farms would be located on the sea roof also. In the times to come, you will have the green buildings in and around your living areas, and there would be a chain of supply of the food in the localized inhabitations. In the times to come, we though it's a design, 3D design, where you see there would be a possibility to grow with the environment, sustained environment, and also to produce the food at the same time without having an impact on the global warming. So if we continue to grow vegetables as a monocrop, as a field crops, then we will lead to the global warming issues. And if you want to contain the climate and the global warming in the cities, then we will have to go with the green building. And at the same time, the solar energy would be produced for the systems, and then horticulture would uh, grow in the localized area of urbanized cities and towns. And there would be need to design the buildings in such a way that the living area might be less, but the growing area might be more in the same building. So as you see, the infrastructure as a planning and architecture, it's going to be changed just to fulfill or to make the society self-sustained in the production of maximum food, available food, and the food items, vegetables, fruits, and also the ornamental plants which can be of commercial value. In the times to come, that the water which is normally used in the buildings for after recycling or using as a swimming pool on the rooftop for the various recreation activities can be used in the building, entire building, for the fulfilling the requirements of irrigation and fertigation in the times to come, and we'll have the green buildings all around. So looking into the features of the green buildings and the requirement of growing trees, fruit plants, vegetables, and also microgreens. So you will see in the future times to come that the urban horticulture will play a very important role to sustain the society and its needs for the food. So food security in urban areas have two important tasks. One, one is the fresh supply chain, and the another is nutritive. So in the times to come, the nutrition would be more prioritized than the amount of food we eat. So if we see the all components and the parts of urban horticulture can be classified with different uh, terms, and they are all urban horticulture. If you see the cities where the lands are all allotted to the different activities, greenery activities, and also the environmental parks, food parks, and also the community forests, community gardens, and you will have a lot of activities in terms of uh, uh, growing them in the different forms. So there are different forms like hydroponics, aquaponics, organic agriculture, and also the urban agriculture and urban green spaces, vertical farming, and these are going to be the major part of urban horticulture. So if we see this uh, horticulture to be floriferous, so there would be the future times to come when you will have the intellectual gardens, when you will have the cure gardens, so where the medicinal plants, aromatic plants, therapeutic plants would be the priority of the garden, and the people would like to have the emotional and aesthetic well-being in the garden. So if you see the form of the gardening in and around cities, it is very important to supply the food and also to supply the uh, good air or air quality to the people who are living in the urban areas. Here, if we see, of course, now there has been a change in the living pattern and also design of the architecture, where the urban buildings, they will be self-sustained in terms of maintaining their greenery, their aeration, their air quality index, and also against the air pollution, noise pollution, and also in the times that of deteriorating environment. So these buildings will be self-sustained in terms of producing this electricity from the solar panels and also the growing surface at the same time to produce more light and also to produce the sufficient water needs from the air. So these hydroponics, aeroponics gardens, they will be all over in the times to come and will make the urban horticulture at a glance the important activity. If you see the slides, there are the cities and urban areas where you will not find the greenery more than 12%. So if you have an urban city that you need to require a green surface more than 12% to supply the enough oxygen demand of the cities, and also to save the water bodies from the contamination. So we will have the considerations of saving the soil status of soil as good as it should be, and also the water saving it from the contamination, as the air pollution is also a first priority of the urban horticulture to mitigate the effect of the uh, degradation of environmental activities in urban areas. As you see, the construction at the same time degrade the environment and its quality index for living of the people. So therefore, these multi-story buildings will have a provision of gardening at the same time, and also to give the employment for the people. So as I said, this the space wherever it is available along the buildings, roadsides, and also parks and places will be effectively can be utilized. And a lot of countries, they have already started doing it, like community gardens. As I said, the community gardening is that the people living in that area, they might come and take participation to grow their own food at the spaces available, for also for aesthetic farming, gardening, and also to sustain the supply of the vegetables, fruits, and also making these ornamental plants look better in the surrounding areas. Here, uh, because the large areas also intact along with the water bodies, ponds, rivers. So the priorities should be given in the cities and urban areas, that they can be grown with the safe vegetables, fruits by the inhabitants, and also by the volunteers. So there has been the examples in the Europe, like the Dutch agriculture, where these gardens are encouraged, where the volunteers can come and grow vegetables, fruits along the rivers, along the water bodies, where the lot of place can still be used with or without forests or without trees, with the good quality vegetables. If you see the various cities like Cuba, or the small countries in South African continent, we will find that the lot of activities are being promoted to self-sustain the urban population, because they can hardly reach the destination, the fresh vegetables and flowers when they are taken up from the countryside. So this is very important to note that the roof can effectively utilize for growing fresh veggies in the towns and also in the cities where we do not have enough space or land in the cities. So at the same time, if the planning and the architecture of the buildings are so important, that the a lot of places can effectively use for growing fresh veggies and also the ornamental grasses, medicinal herbs, and also the culinary products. So these ways are being popular also back now in India as roof gardening, rooftop gardening, and also container gardening, and also the greenhouses or roof structures or shelters are being constructed all over, and those who can sustain, they can produce their own food in the small structures if they can install it over the roof or in the courtyard of the houses. So these are very very small and fabricated structures which can be bought from the market and can be installed on nuts and bolts, and they can be a very good producing structures. So over the time when the business is growing, now this urban horticulture is booming like anything, and you will see in the big cities where they have a large buildings or community buildings or maybe society buildings where they have a large area, large area, they can plant a container garden, or they can plant the rooftop garden where they can produce, they are producing a lot of vegetables and also flowers for their consumption. So similarly, if we see in the market, the ready-made kits are available, uh, so that you can grow leafy vegetables and other vegetables, seasonal vegetables. And if you are a very small family, you can buy a structure, ready-made structure, depending on the number of plants to be grown or the area to be occupied on the rooftop or in the balcony or in the terraces, at the terraces. So you can buy the ready-made kits, they are available in the market, and you can grow the veggies. So not only this, growing veggies at a little larger scale can sustain your family, and also you can supply to the neighbors, and also it can be sold over the time to fulfill the demand of the other people in your vicinity. So this is now a hydroponic system of growing vegetables where the ready-made kits are available. So you, whether you can grow NFT system, or you can grow the free flowing system or bucket system of fertigation. So you can grow even much better the other plants. And if you are having a large roof area, that the same assembly can be done on little larger scale. So these hydroponic or NFT farming is becoming more popular in the cities, in the people that they can install these structures over the roof and can cultivate the plants. So similarly, the vertical hydroponic gardens or hydroponic cultivation is also on very popular note, that the people who can buy the vertical system, they can use their balconies and terraces to grow vegetables for themselves, and they are not very costly systems. Once you buy, they will be running for the many years, and only thing is that you can save also water, you can also save time, and you can also save space at the same time. And if you can have the large area, you can also make it a very commercial for the peoples to grow. So similarly, if that Dutch bucket bucket system are also available. A kits of 5 buckets, 20-liter capacity of each. You can grow plants in your rooftop, in your balcony, in your kitchen yard, and you can sustain the demand for fresh veggies by yourself. So if I speak about the commercial model of growing such vegetables in an urban area, so you need to have a small possible space, and you can put a structure that's not very costly, but it makes around 3,000 rupees per square meter. And depending on the area available, you can construct this structure, or you can order to construct this structure on the roof, or also in the your kitchen yard, and you can sustain to grow the large number of vegetables inside. And you can have the 10 to 12 cycles of the crops or plants inside this structure, and you can grow the number of vegetables also for the market and also for the consumption of your families. So if you take an example of five 100 square meter area, and you can grow leafy vegetables almost 6 to 10 cycles, you can earn almost uh, from the 5 or 400 square meter, you can earn almost 6 to 10 lakh rupees in 1 year. So this is like an income for the family members, those who have time, who cannot go and work outside, so they can work by themselves and can produce the fresh vegetables as urban gardener. So like I said, the vertical farming is also possible in the vertical frames, and you can grow fresh and healthy vegetables for the use. And also in horizontal system, you can have the number of fresh and exotic vegetables, where they are largely used for soup making, salad making, and you can grow at a very low cost. So if I say that the pak choy and lettuce, they're being sold for almost 150 to 300 rupees per kg in the market, like baby spinach are being sold for 100 or 90 rupees per kg in the market. So if your production cost is normally 6 to 12 rupees per kg, so it's a very economical and very profitable business in the times to come. So depending on the requirements of the local requirement, you can select the vegetables, and you can grow you can select the growing system. uh, this is organic, this is a soilless growing system, which we call hydroponics. So these they are grown in the growing media, and the fertigation is done by mechanical booms, and it is very easy and very comfortable to grow. Not only this, ornamental plants can be grown at the same time, and then they can be sold when they flower, or they are in the conditions to sold. So now the trend is coming in the urban cities, where a lot of ornamental plants are produced for catering the rising demand of the cities, their people, to decorate their houses, gardens, and also hobbies for growing them in the balconies, terraces, roofs, and windows. So a lot of plants can be prepared, and you would be surprised to know that the 1 acre greenhouse, if it is done in the urban areas, can fetch up to uh, 2 to 3 crores of rupees in 1 year. So it depends on the cycles of the plant production, intensity of the plant production in that area, and the supply of the plants at the right time. So this is very lucrative in the cities nowadays, that the demand for ornamental plants is rising like anything. So wherever you go, the stores, showrooms, and also the big buildings, they are more decorated with the ornamental plants in all the seasons. So the season-based specific plants can be prepared and can be supplied for the catering the demand for making them aesthetic beauty. So here, as I said, the vertical gardening of leafy vegetables is also possible. You can see here we do have a structure where we are growing vertical, we are doing vertical farming of leafy vegetables, lettuce, pak choi, sweet basil, mint, and parsley, parsley, celery, and so on. So here we have a possibility that this even aeroponics cultivation can be done, where the water can be pumped with fertilizer in the root zone, and you can see the crop can be very healthy. So here this is very important to note that the if you have the capacity for the investments, and you can grow any type of plants, be it the flowers, the ornamental plants, or vegetables, leafy vegetables, fresh veggies. So it can be a very successful venture in the times to come. So here the only thing is that the urban areas do have a problem of soil and water. So if you use the soil is always contaminated with a lot of waste, lot of fungal infections, and also the harmful bacteria, so which at the same time will produce a lot of diseases and pests in the crops. So therefore it is advised to go for the organic farming, soilless organic farming, where there are less chances of the diseases, pests, and insects, and also they are safe for healthy eating. So this is very important, that the requirement of the structure, the design, and also the available space and the inputs are very, very important. So here I would like to conclude my talk that the urban horticulture as of now is not that established, but in the future times to come, it would be a very great industry. So now, because people, they will also change their food habits, and then the fresh veggies, fresh fruits, and also the ornamental plants will have more space rather than the full field crops in the times to come. So here the urban horticulture has a very big role to play in the development of horticulture, or the food and different food products for the urban population in the localized manner, and also at the same time for a large population it would give the employment and also opportunities for generating their extra or primary income as a source of livelihood. So I conclude my talk. So if you have any queries and questions, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir, so that we can see your full video? Yes, thank you very much. I'll move on to the questions now. The first question is, how can urban horticulture initiatives be structured to prioritize local employment and income generation?
Yeah, as I said, the government also have made the schemes, and a lot of schemes they are also connected to the startups. If the educated young people or young students can come forward, not only to produce the horticulture for market, horticultural crops for the market, but also to create an infrastructure like nurseries. So nurseries can be a big boost to increase the demand for the plants in the urban areas. So this government initiative can also be taken up as an industrial encouragement by the people living in the urban cities. So we now have in an unemployment population of educated youth. So this startup can be taken up to go for urban horticulture schemes. Thank you.
What skills are necessary for individuals seeking employment in urban horticulture?
Yes, there are 6 to 7 modules of urban horticulture in the Agriculture Council of Skill Council of India. So ASCII is a full-fledged government department where they organize the training programs for the farmers, for the unemployed youths, and also they have the registered experts with them. So every city, every metropolitan city, there are the schemes from this department, Skill Council of India. They are facilitating, and they are also giving registration, and this registration helps uh, not only in learning the skills but also opening their entrepreneurship venture by taking help from the government banks.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question, sir. Are there specific demographic groups or communities that benefit more from urban horticulture employment opportunities?
Yes, because those people who do urban peri-urban agriculture, so they are likely to most benefited from these schemes, because there is a large demand in urban peri-urban areas, and these peri-urban farmers, they make a very good income out of this urban horticulture.
Okay. What are the economic benefits of integrating urban horticulture into urban planning and development?
Yes, it has a very good role in supplying the off season produce by incorporating, as I said, the protected cultivation. So if the farmers, they learn the skills of protected cultivation and they grow around the year any crop, so beyond season they will have a good demand and good income out of this. So these encouragements are all not only to produce the seasonal crops but off season crops also. So the off season crops are main income generation activities for the farmers or for entrepreneurs. That's why this urban horticulture should be taken on first priority.
Okay. How do government policies and regulations impact the potential for employment and income generation in urban horticulture?
See, largely, if we see the maximum scheme of mission development of horticulture or scheme which are given by National Horticulture Board, they are largely being operative in peri-urban areas. So peri-urban areas, this is helping also for the people to take the employment and also to generate more income by the entrepreneurs. So this is very important to note that the urban horticulture is taking a lead, and in the times to come it will grow more.
Okay. The next question is, what are the challenges facing individuals and organizations looking to establish urban horticulture
Yeah.
businesses for employment and income generation?
Yeah, as I said, now the work is going on designing the structures and the facilities for urban horticulture. So if we say the hydroponic system, vertical frames, V frames, and also U frames, and also the horizontal frames, now they are likely to be improved. So these are the challenges if a person wants to construct. So there are less number of fabricators available. So in the times to come, if the government policies are like, if we can import the structures and designs, though they are being imported, if they are being available, being made in the country itself, rather than the import, because import takes more time, and also uh, person has to invest more. So if they are made available or they are fabricated locally, so that can be an easy task. So this is one challenge. The another challenge is not all the crops and varieties are suitable for growing in the urban horticulture. So we need to channelize the availability of good planting material and seeds all over the places where there is a demand. So if a person wants to search the good quality planting material, he will have to waste so much of time on it. So there should be a chain of provider, seed provider or planting material provider, and then the farmers, they can be connected to the to the experts, and then it can be grown. So when they will learn the cycle of getting seed, making seedlings, and then growing, so it would be much easier for the people to take this as an employment generating opportunity, and also to generate more income for themselves.
Okay. What role do education and training programs play in preparing individuals for careers in urban horticulture?
Yeah, this is very important. Like we are a national institute situated in Delhi. So we are at IRI, we are taking up more than 30 training, small training and 2 weeks training programs in urban farming and urban horticulture by ourselves. So these we are training the farmers, entrepreneurs, and also the professionals which at different times they come from the different states of the country. So many times state sponsored officers, they are coming to take the training, and then in their respective states they are further giving the training to the progressive farmers and entrepreneurs.
Okay. Sir, are there any examples of successful urban horticulture projects that have significantly boosted local economics and provided sustainable livelihoods?
Yes, there are lot many projects which are still going on, and they are by the farmers and also for the farmers, and they are generating a very good income. Especially in Delhi NCR, there are not less than 26 such programs where maximum of them they have opened the nursery, they have opened the greenhouses for ornamental plants, and you won't believe that the turnover of these big nurseries and the is from 6 crore to 120 crores per annum. So they are making a big impact in the horticulture industry, and also supplying or catering the demand for the large developing sector. So as you saw, see the now cities are developing very fast, and all over for landscaping, for ornamental landscaping, they need a large number of saplings and trees for rehabilitating that land or making it look very good. So these nurseries, they are coming up like anything. Then we have in Punjab some nurseries which are supplying not less than 3 crore seedlings per annum for the farmers or farmers of that area. So this is very important to note that now the urban horticulture is taking a lead also to making the availability of planting material for the farmers.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Dr. Mam Singh for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you, ma'am, and
You're
thank you,
most welcome,
audience,
sir.
for participating.